Is this your opportunity to get hammered with Godzilla? Who's excited for the preschool adaptation of Demon in the Bottle? Will Cummings coming down with a case of the spoilers mean doomsday for Reed? Does someone need to remind Discord that snitches get stitches? All this and more on Cutting Edge Hero Live! Cutting Edge Hero! I am the Nerd King, Danny Stewart, your host for this and every episode of Cutting Edge Hero, joined this week by my lovely co-host, the original queen of nerddom herself, Jen. Jen, what is up?
What's up?
And, of course, the obsequious, the fanatical, the hat-wearing Landon Felter. Landon, how you doing?
Doing just fine, and I only understood 2 of those 3 things.
Yeah, me too. I just use words. And then, as always, we have our technical director, Randy, behind the screen over there. Randy, how's my guy in the chair doing this week?
I'm doing all right, and I am human. I don't know if that's what the rest of that word was going to be.
And our human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire, Ben Stewart, could be in the comments. I don't know. That kid's wild. He does whatever he wants to. We've got Eric Johnson in the chat and Ken Pachi. What is up? Glad you guys are here. Good evening, my nerd fam. Indeed, Eric. That is my long-term bromance and guy I'm trying to steal from Jen. But anyway.
This isn't in relation to that, but I'm manipulating the chat.
That's perfect. Yeah. But anyway, let's kick the show off with our biggest first question of the week. Guys, what is the nerdiest thing you've done this week? Jen, you want to go first? Landon, you want to go first?
Oh god.
All right. I haven't had much time for nerdy stuff this week because I started a new job. But I have decided to try my hand at a Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke, just to try it out.
I don't know what that means.
Oh,
so
a whole level of nerddom.
Yeah.
So a Nuzlocke is a specific challenge in Pokemon, where the basic rules are, if a Pokemon faints, it's dead. You can't use it anymore. You have to release it or put it in the box or whatever. But if it faints, it's gone. And 2, you can only catch the first Pokemon you find on each route of the game.
Yeah. Okay. So you only get one of the first one you find. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you only get one of the first one you find. There are also variations on the rules. Like some people have species clause where if you catch a Pidgey on Route 1, you can't catch a Pidgey on Route 2 or whatever. And things along those lines.
That seems unnecessarily complicated for a fun children's game.
You also have to nickname them, so when they die, it hurts more.
Yes, you also have to nickname them so that if they die, it hurts more.
Oh, wow. Jen, you got anything like that?
Well, I mean, last week when we played our TTRPG for the Awesome Zone RPG, so that was super fun. And then, as Eric put in the chat, we've been playing a lot of video games with our buddy Rob. So we've been playing lots of 7 Days to Die.
Yeah, Rob Gibbons, longtime fan and friend of the show.
Yeah.
And that sounds like an absolute blast. I've never played 7 Days to Die. I'm assuming that's a zombie type game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a zombie game. It's like an open world, post-apocalyptic, kind of like survival game.
All my favorite futures are post-apocalyptic.
Less people.
Randy, what'd you do this week?
Marshmallows. It's still marshmallows from Bloons Tower Defense. I've been playing so much of it. I also tried the RuneScape Dragon Wilds game. It's still in early access, but it's like a survival crafting RuneScape. It was fun. Me and one of my friends, he's played so much more than I have, but we basically ran out of content to do. So we're kind of put it on the back burner till they add more stuff. But it seems like it's going to be a really fun game once everything's in it.
I may check that out.
Mm-hmm.
But Billy Rhodes is in the chat. He said, "Yo, what up? What's the hit list?" It is your 5 favorite Nintendo games this week. And Billy said the nerdiest thing I've done is watch the new season of Black Mirror. Holy shit, that is an emotional ride. Episode 4, not hot. Okay, episode 4, not even
easy. Huh?
Episode 4, hot, easy, too close to home. Okay. I'll check it out. I love Black Mirror, so I will be getting back into that. Speaking of Black Mirror, Netflix is removing all of their Choose Your Own Adventure content off of their platform, including Babadook. Was it Babadook? No, it was
the
Alice in
Wonderland one.
Yeah, Bandersnatch. They trimmed a bunch of them, but left a few of them. But they're finally going to remove all of them, which I hate. I wish they were adding to them. I fucking love that Choose Your Own Adventure version of TV watching.
I never watched it, but one of my friends did, and they said it was cool. And I'm like, why? That's a cool gimmick. Keep it going.
Yeah, I sat and clicked through it until I got every single scene and ending that I could find. And I followed like a list online to make sure I got them all, and I think I got everything.
Bandersnatch always froze.
Huh?
Like anytime we would go on there and we try to do the Bandersnatch, like when you go back and like try to pick like a different option, ours always froze. It would always like just death spin.
That sucks. Yeah, I didn't have that experience. It was pretty easy to just go back to my previous option and make a different choice. CJ Lovelady said Netflix is trimming their Bandersnatch. That's the headline I should have went with. Anyway, I did a couple of things this week. First off, we didn't do the show last week because I decided to remove the fence out of my backyard, and I'm not traditionally allergic to like poison ivy or poison oak or poison sumac. Like I barehand it all the time. It never bothers me. So I don't really worry about it too much. Well, I got really into a bunch of it this last week. And so Randy's got a picture to queue up here. This is what I looked like on Thursday morning. I was not as bad Wednesday morning, but I was close. But by Thursday, I could barely see out of my eyes. So my first allergic reaction to poison ivy, which apparently can just happen anytime. Like you can just go from not having a problem to having a severe problem. I got a steroid shot in my ass. I've been on prednisone since. It took many, many days for the swelling to go down, but I'm glad I'm finally closer to normal. Katrina was making a lot of jokes about me looking like Sloth from the Goonies. She's a very loving and kind and sensitive human being. So,
I mean, Danny, I was looking at that photo, and since you're healthy now, I can say it looks like it took you back in time to Neanderthal days.
Yeah, I totally agree. I get it. I see the sloth comparison. I'm just glad I don't look like that anymore. But anyway, that being said, in my downtime over the last 2 weeks, I did something that I've really been wanting to do for a long time. So you guys know that I have a lot of love for my man Optimus Prime here.
Yes.
This is the Optimus Prime model kit by Flame Toys. And then for Christmas, my friends got me this Megatron, which is the generation. I hate that it won't focus on it.
Try the hand thing again.
I don't know. Anyway, this is the what they thought was going to be Generation 1 Megatron. It ended up being the IDW Comics Megatron from the Till All Are One comic storyline. So this is actually a version of Megatron that joins the Autobots, but it is not Generation 1. It's close. It's close to Generation 1, but it is not Generation 1. So during our break, I actually found this at our local hobby store. This is the new hotness. That is Generation 1 Megatron, fully made. So these two guys are now going to be on my shelf together as they are supposed to. And as a obsessive nerd, this just makes my little nerd heart so happy to finally have the G1 Megatron to put on there. As soon as possible, I will be following that with a Generation 1 Soundwave and then probably Starscream. And then I need a Grimlock. God, I need a Grimlock. I need so many things. That as well as I got the foam in. I ordered a bunch of foam for a new foam cosplay that I'm crafting that I will be premiering at Cape Con this coming November. So I'm very excited about that too. I won't tell you what it is, but it's big and it's gonna be awesome. I'm very excited about it. But anyway, so those are the nerdiest things I've done this week. You guys want to talk about some news?
Always.
Sure.
Randy, how about you fire those bullet points at me? All right, welcome to the bullet points. This week we are talking about some of, definitely not all, of the news going on in anime, comics, TV, movies, and video games. I will kick us off, guys. In the world of comics, so the X-Men are going through a bit of a transitionary period in the comics. They did have the island nation of Krakoa for a little over a year, and then that got destroyed, and now they're back to being on the run and feared and hated by society. And in that time, they've relaunched the X-Men series, and Cyclops has a new team. And with that new team, he has a new look. Randy, if you'll throw that first image up. So on the left is the costume he wore throughout the Krakoa era. On the right is the new costume he has in X-Men, in the main X-Men book. So X-Men 16 is out today, coming to us from writer Jed MacKay and artist Ryan Stegman. But we're getting a variant cover featuring the various eras of Cyclops by artist Russell Dauterman. Guys, what is your, if you had to pick one, what is your favorite Cyclops look that he's had over the years, and why? Not my Cyclops, CJ Lovely. That's so funny.
I mean, it's hard to get over just like the classic design from the 90s and now I guess modern cartoon as well. Like,
yeah, the Chris Claremont blue and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I strongly identify with that one. I think my favorite of the grouping there, I think my favorite overall is the Age of Apocalypse one, where he's only got one eye and he's actually a Cyclops. And he has the long hair. I think that's my favorite Cyclops to date.
I was wondering what that one was.
So yeah, that's from the Age of Apocalypse storyline. He blasted Wolverine's hand off, and Wolverine cut his eye out. And so if you know, like the Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine has one like metal stub and one clawed hand. That's from that.
Is that where he's pinned to like the X?
No, that's actually that's a classic Wolverine comic cover where he's crucified on an X. But it was in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. Okay. Did he have?
He has like really big feral hair, and he's got the flat, and it's like a sleeveless shirt and pants. But yeah, the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine was like wild looking. But Jen, what's your pick for the favorite up there?
Oh, I gotta go with Landon. I like the classic '90s one that just kind of feels like home.
Yeah,
I can't go over that one.
I can agree with that.
I really like the Phoenix 5 one.
Oh yeah, Phoenix 5 was really good.
Pretty sick. Like I like his visor being like, I think it's the shape of a phoenix. I also like the red, because this is the comics that I was reading at the time.
Yeah,
like the big X. The red.
That's the costume that predates the Krakoa era when he was a terrorist leader. He was a leader of a terrorist cell and a criminal post the Phoenix 5 storyline.
And then the baseball cap's doing it for me.
But I see we've got
jeans.
I see we've got up there, one of the things they included was Ultimate Cyclops, which is the top left next to the Phoenix Force, and that's not even the same continuity.
Who's being cruel to these two up here that get
yeah, those were probably the artist's favorite ones too. He's like, these are the ones I nailed.
I also like the bottom left right next to the barcode. I like that visor. I don't know what it is or what it's from, but that's a cool visor.
I don't know.
It's like a cat face.
Is it like a gala, like a Hellfire?
Oh, it's from the Hellfire Gala.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would say it's
from their big.
It's pretty camp.
It's from their mutant prom that they held 2 years in a row, and then on the second one they destroyed Krakoa and all lost their island and fell apart.
I can't handle the one with the Pantene hair. It's all like this.
That's the one that caught my eye first.
That's the Age of Apocalypse.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought he stole Jean Grey's hair for a second.
The Amalgam universe where like they got
Yeah,
put
that's what I was
together.
thinking. Just like some weird
And
version where they
Wolverine's
merge.
still into it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He loves himself a redhead. Let's see. We've got some comments in. CJ said I did it wrong. Hashtag not my Cyclops. Eric Johnson said Scott just doesn't age. Eric Johnson said his favorite is 1990s Jim Lee. Billy Rhodes said the one that he was dead is my favorite. Yeah, I've never been a big Cyclops fan.
Don't do that to James Marsden. I don't know if that's
and Willie McCoy said, "What's up, team? Willie, glad you're here." Justin Aiden, good friend of the show, former host of our previous show. Age of Apocalypse, Cyclops is superior. Totally agree. And he says one of his favorite action figures that he owns. And Eric Johnson said the X Crucifixion was from the Revert. Yeah. Moving along in TV news, Disney Plus and Marvel Studios announced today that they are going to be releasing a show called Iron Man and His Awesome Friends. It is coming to us from the same people that made Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Iron Man's Awesome Friends are Riri Williams, you can see on the right there, and that is Amadeus Cho in Hulk armor on the left. It will be Tony Stark in the Iron Man armor. Here's a quick look at some of the villains that are going to be in it. We've got whichever one you're going to click, what I'm going to describe. We've got Ultron here, and instead of being a killer robot, he's going to be a mischievous robot. Then
he looks like a scamp.
Yeah, he does look like a scamp. The Absorbing Man Crusher Creel, who we know is one of Hulk's most dangerous villains, is going to be showing up in the show. And then a gender swap version of Swarm is also showing up. So for all of your kids that are preschool age, they're finally going to get their introduction to Iron Man and his addiction problems. Like I said in the intro, his I can't wait to see them do the Demon in a Bottle storyline.
It's just juice
in
boxes.
this. Yeah, Demon in a juice box. That's going to be perfect.
I'm sorry, but some of these really look like. Do you all remember the old Clash of Clans ads that would play? These really look like some of those Clash of Clan ads.
You mean the Hog Rider scream?
Yeah.
Which was the original chicken jockey?
Oh, chicken jockey! Yes. I think we all have to throw our popcorn now, right? Isn't that how that goes?
Thanks for bringing back the trauma.
Justin Aiden said more Marvel PJ Masks. It's true. They are definitely ripping off PJ Masks. Although that it's what was it? Superhero Squad was the other Marvel series aimed at kids where they were kind of chibis, and Doctor Doom was like a goofy weirdo, not unlike Doom in actual comics, but with less gravitas. Moving along to movies, Alan Cummings may have spoiled a part of the plot of Avengers Doomsday. Now, this isn't a huge leak because I think we could kind of all assume they were going to have like a superhero punch-up before they all decided to be friends again. But in an interview with BuzzFeed UK, I have the quote pulled up here. He said, I'm sort of learning these fights. Like, what? Who am I fighting with? You're hitting Pedro Pascal against the head? It's just that I can't quite believe, especially because X2 was such a long time ago. So apparently there's a fight between Nightcrawler and Reed Richards at some point in the movie.
That would be an interesting fight.
Yeah. I it's something I really haven't thought about, is that we're getting the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in one film together. And I was kind of expecting an Avengers fight, but it didn't occur to me that we may see some of these mashups where, like, it might be Wolverine and Nightcrawler fighting against, Thing and Reed, which I'm excited for.
Heck yeah.
I remember like the X-Men versus Avengers comic run. They had like they had like a X-Men versus, and it was two characters. And like I think it's, we don't get screen time together, so we're gonna put you together in this,
right?
As like they just run into each other. And then after that, they had the X-Men and Avengers, where it was like they team up.
Yeah. And
so like I'm all for just two random characters duke it out for a minute.
Justin Aiden said, read it again with his accent. I'm not going to try that. Eric Johnson said AVX had some good matches. It definitely did. And Billy Rhodes said, I can't wait for kids to finally idolize an alcoholic that isn't me. But anyway, so that's our first spoiler from the Doomsday film. I'm sure it won't be our last one. But Alan Cummings, who, I don't think he's as worried about his MCU career as some of the actors are. Like Tom Holland would really be fucked if they fired him. Alan Cummings would be fine.
Do you think that they're going to? I might have brought this up already, but do you think they're going to do the tattoos again?
No.
Or do you think they're just going to CGI it, or just pretend it didn't happen?
I think he's going to be mostly CGI, just like Kelsey Grammer is Beast.
Because that seems like that would take forever.
Yeah. Anyway, moving along to movies. Oh, that was movies news. Never mind. One more story in movies. Nexus Point News posted an exclusive article stating that A24 will be making an Elden Ring movie, and then immediately took it down. Here's a screen grab from Film Update's Instagram. And the article claimed that the film would start production next year and that Alex Garland would direct. Thoughts?
Why'd they take it down?
The world.
I'm more just confused about what that means.
So that seems to be the overall opinion, is like, what the hell? How are they going to make an Elden Ring movie for starters? Because it's so huge, like, what would he even look like? And then people are like confused, like, is this a real leak? Like, why would they post an article and then it not be true at all? But also, it just seems too grandiose. Now, not that there hasn't been interest in them making a movie. George R.R. Martin has said that he would like to see it as a movie. I know that From Software has said they would like to see it as a feature film as well. But like, the fact that this leak exists, or this article exists, leads me to believe it's probably somewhat true, at least. Mm-hmm. But then why was it ripped down so fast? Because it's not like that's, it didn't report anything. It didn't have any news besides the fact that it was happening.
I don't even know what direction they would take this in. I don't even know, like, if it's supposed to start production, then where exactly would they be right now? Because they would...
Right. They'd be definitely in the scripting phases.
Yeah, they storyboarded everything already. So then...
Yeah, but like, what would that even, like, what would they have to cut from the game? What would they take from the game? Like,
I really don't care. I think the thing I want the most is a screen accurate Ronnie the Witch.
See, I think they should follow the Let Me Solo Her guy. Like that, I just broke this. I just broke the story of the movie. It's got to
be. Let Me Solo Her the movie. Like, that's fucking great.
Rise of the Let Me Solo Her.
Running around in underwear with the pot on the head.
Yeah.
That would be an awesome. I watch that.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Henry Cavill with a pot on his head. Perfect.
Henry Cavill's a little too yoked to be Let Me Solo Her. He was scrawny.
Who's a skinny, jacked actor?
Skarsgård. Oh yeah, Skarsgård would be good.
Any of them can do it. Even the dad. He's probably not the right build.
Eric Johnson said that would be such a deep and long movie. That's also the title of our movie, Eric. And Billy said, I would not have thought that A24 would have enough money to make that movie. I don't know that A24 would have the money, but there's definitely enough money in the Sony piggy bank to fund A24 making it.
A24 is in with Netflix, though, right? Because didn't they do Has Been Hotel?
I think that,
and they got like a third and fourth season, I think. So,
I think that having a contract with Netflix doesn't preclude them making a movie with someone else.
And they spent what was it, $1 billion per episode on Lord of the Rings?
That Lord of the Rings was Amazon for not Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Yeah, and that was I like Rings of Power. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish they could connect it more to the main Lord of the Rings world. But I really enjoy it.
Just repurpose the assets from Rings of Power, make them more Dark Soulsy. You're already halfway there.
Yeah, go from high fantasy to dark fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that is it for me. Jen, what do you have in anime news?
Ooh, I got some good anime news for you guys. So Dan actually debuted a new trailer. This actually happened on April 26th for their upcoming season 2. In the trailer, it previews the fight between Okuran and Evil Eye, along with some other teasers for this next season. And then it shows in the last scene that Okuran and Turbo Granny in her Lucky Cat form get into a sticky situation.
Describe the sticky situation. Or maybe don't.
I mean, I could improvise.
I love Don Don. I think that was one of the best anime to come out in quite a while. It's very good. It's fun. It's like a mix up or a merging of Jujutsu Kaisen and Fooly Cooly into one beautiful wacky baby. I just love it.
It's, you know, whenever I introduce somebody to it, I'm like, listen, get through the first episode. Just stay with it, because that's what was told to me. Because I watched the first episode, I was like, what the hell is this? But then once you get past it, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I need to get into Dan to Dan because it's something I saw tons of out of context clips of the manga for years because it's batshit insane.
Yeah.
And then when the anime finally came out, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to watch it. Or whenever it was about to come out. And now that it has, I haven't done it for whatever reason. Probably because I'm stupid.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say it's because you're stupid. I think it's because everyone else is stupid and they're keeping you away from it. I blame everyone who isn't you, Landon. You are above reproach, unlike Randy.
It has like one of the best anime openings. I've heard it forever.
Dude, the theme song gets stuck in my head just randomly, and I'll just be like sitting around going don 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 don, and it's like, God, it's so good, but it's just wild, man. Like the nutty the nutty juxtaposition of like this crazy creepy grandma demon trying to steal this kid's testicles is like the start of the story, and it just gets wilder from there because his testicles become like his source of superpowers, which is like so nuts. And when other people are holding his testicles, they also get superpowers. Like, that is the wildest shit. And I love that it's this like merging of what's the word I'm looking for? Like demons and the occult. It's this merging of the occult and the extraterrestrial all in one thing. Like, they didn't pick a lane. They're just like, fuck it, we're doing everything. Like, I love it.
I do too. I absolutely love it. With more news, South Korea announced that they have a 5-year plan to boost their animation industry. I guess they heard that's doing awesome things, and I guess they saw that some of the things that they have been doing have taken off. So the South Korean government is going to be establishing a fund of $100 million to expand it by 2029. And they're also going to plan to enhance education programs, support for producing content, as well as projects optimizing for streaming platforms. So if you want to get into that, move to Korea. They'll support you.
Yeah. It's nice to hear the good Korea doing something.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah.
I will say bad timing with the whole 100% tariff markup on all foreign produced film and shows.
Yes.
I know you work. Yeah, I know the US isn't the only market, but we are a pretty big market.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think like South America is like the hub for anime. Like, as much as we love it in the United States, like Brazil, down around that area, they consume it at a much higher rate than we do, which is why sometimes you see that those countries will get their dubs before we will, because they're bigger fans. Billy said, so there's only one true Korea, by the way. Billy is on a correction path tonight. He's like, actually, but yeah, I don't know enough about Korea. I just know that when I think South, I think bad. So I have to remind myself that South Korea is the one that isn't led by a crazy tyrannical dictator.
I know this doesn't like fall into anime specific, but we do a lot of American shows. We get most of our animation sent over to South Korea for the actual animation part.
And sometimes the North Korea by mistake, which
only
we're not supposed
sometimes.
to do. Looking at you, Amazon again.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, that's yes, poor timing on their part, especially with the recently announced 100% tariffs. But you can probably comfortably believe that when the current president is talking about films and tariffs, he has no idea anime exists. He's literally talking about live action movies and nothing else.
True.
So They may miss that entirely.
Do we show him anime or do we keep it?
God, no, he doesn't need any. He's on his way out. He's lived long enough. He needs nothing and no additions to what we've got. And I'm not trying to make him a better person. I just want him to go away.
I mean, he is old enough to where I think if we show him something just foreign enough and just strange enough, he might actually have a fucking heart attack and die.
Dan.
He would be in favor of Shao Tucker.
Yeah.
That would be his favorite character, probably.
Yeah. Anyway, moving along. What else you got, Jen?
Demon Slayer Mugen Train is returning to theaters for a new 4K release on May 14th. But here's the kicker. There is an Infinity Castle teaser that will play and only be available to those attending the Mugen Train re-release. Rude.
Yeah. The odds of us getting that, I'm going to say Mugen because I think that's the way
Mugen?
it was pronounced to me, at least. And I could be totally wrong. But I don't think we'll get a re-release of Mugen Train in order for us to get that preview. So I guess we'll have to wait for it to hit the internet, right?
Probably like 10 minutes after the first showing of it, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it'll be on pirate sites. Yeah.
I'm relying on that. Someone please record it and put it on YouTube everywhere, please.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll be like the last premiere of a Infinity Castle thing where it's just the same ending but with an additional crow. There was something like that where it was like everybody was excited for it, and then it ended up just being like the Infinity Castle with a crow flying through it, and that was like the big reveal, and everybody's just like, "What?"
Well, that's like My Hero Academia releasing a movie to theaters that was just them playing baseball. It was like didn't further the plot, added no new characters. It was just them having a baseball game. It was like cool. Can't wait to watch that.
I love it. All right.
Billy Rhodes said, "Oh, speaking of the president, I really think someone needs to do it." Unrelated note: Luigi is my favorite Super Mario character. Mine too, Billy. Mine too.
All right. And last but not least, have you always wanted a hammer in the shape of Godzilla's foot? Well, you are in luck, my friends. You can bring some kaiju power to your new home project. Custom, who are creators of unique iron tools, have created Godzilla foot hammer weighing at 1.2 pounds. This particular model was created from the 2001 film Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. Look at that.
Yeah. I've never wanted a themed hammer so much in my life.
I didn't know I needed that.
I think the only other time I've ever wanted a themed hammer was this one. Yeah, I've never that's incredible. I would like to show up to a job site with that as my hammer.
It's a very niche intersection in a Venn diagram of foot people, construction workers, and scalies.
Oh.
And that's awesome.
I have a feeling we're going to find out that Venn diagram is bigger than we think, Randy. I find out we're going to find.
I need to know, am I the only one that just learned that the word scalies existed?
No.
No.
Yeah, you are the only one.
Did you know scalies were a thing, Jen?
No.
Okay.
It's like furries, but lizards. It's a subsection of furries.
We
I had
needed
no idea.
What is the
another
purpose of this hammer?
subculture with that.
Novelty. Billy.
Yeah, probably novelty, Billy. I don't imagine you're going to use it regularly, but I would, if I got my hands on one.
You got to rebuild Tokyo skyscrapers the same way they were destroyed.
Yeah.
So would you use more lube as a scaly than a furry? Because scales slippery. Yeah.
I'm not that far into it.
I guess that depends on what you're putting the scale on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's scales in that part.
Are there
Yeah. Not with that attitude. So that does it for anime. Landon, what do we have in video game news?
All right. You know what? The world, not too great right now. Let's be honest. So gonna start out with some great news. EA cancels a Titanfall game and lets go of 300 to 400 people. That's not good news.
No.
But yeah, another round of layoffs at EA.
What's happening? Did they make Elon Musk their CEO or something?
No, just turns out Things aren't going too great right now. I honestly just got an alert about a story 5 minutes into the show about how apparently, what's their live action game? Battle Royale. Why didn't I mark this down? But anyway,
I just read Billy's newest comment, and I can't. I fucking can't. Sorry, Landon. Go ahead.
Yeah, like their new one of their newest one of their well-known games is not doing that great right now. Apex Legends, their profitability is down 40% apparently. Wow. Projected not to do much better than this. So
That's
I think
they added lightsabers to Fortnite.
That's because they added Emma Frost to Marvel Rivals.
Oh fuck yeah, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, so things aren't looking too good for EA. They say they're gonna stick with it. A lot of people don't think so, but that's just how things are going right now.
Yeah, I played Apex Legends for like a week when it first came out, and it was kind of like your run of the mill shooter game. And then I was like, nah, I'm good.
I went to do a practice match, and I got thrown into like a lobby with real people, and was like automatically on voice chat, and got scared and jumped ship immediately.
Never went back.
Yeah.
That's the only appropriate response to that.
Like people were talking to me. I was like, oh no, I have no idea what I'm doing and can't handle this.
Did you feature Billy's comment?
No, I didn't know if I was
yeah,
supposed
I want people to see what he said.
I didn't want to get in trouble.
So there's that. And then his next one, if you will, so that we can get the feedback that we're looking for here.
Well, my only feedback is it's a cloaca, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Maybe I know too much about this.
It's a multi-use orifice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Lots of animals have those.
Humans have them too. You never heard of a prison pocket?
I meant specifically a cloaca. Also, another multi-use orifice. We have lots of multi-use orifices.
That's true.
See you in the ER.
I would like to talk more about multi-use orifices, but maybe we can just move on to another gaming story.
Yeah, you know what? Let's move on. Nintendo is trying to force Discord to reveal the identity of the Pokemon leaker late last year. If y'all remember the big Pokemon leak late 2024 that showed a bunch of beta documents from Pokemon Gen 1 and Gen 2, Nintendo is trying to subpoena Discord right now through California courts to get that information.
Speaking of beta documents, if Discord cracks, they're beta cucks.
Got him, Danny.
They're gonna lose. They'll lose my business if they tattle on this Pokemon leaker. That's ridiculous. Is that the only response? I
don't know
guys. What do you think, Jen?
You know,
I remember these leaks.
I don't remember the leaks either. But I mean, sorry, leaks happen. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how much personal information the leaker did share with Discord? Their Discord name was something along the lines of like Game Freak Leak or something like that. So like, I don't know how much personal information they did share. Yeah.
It was just like, from what I understand, it was just Pokemon like concept leak, right?
It was like Pokemon concept leak, as well as like some early design documents and kind of like just some jokes they had in the office. Like there was like a whole thing about Typhlosion kidnapping a girl.
I remember the Typhlosion thing.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yep. It was from that leak.
Okay. I didn't know that was a leak.
So not as bad as whenever Sony's leak happened and it turned out their CEO was like super racist and saying awful shit about actors and then lost his job. Not that bad.
Not that kind of
Typhlosion got canceled.
Yeah.
This was a mostly victimless crime, except Nintendo was kind of upset that information about games that are older than me got leaked.
It's a victimless crime, like punching somebody in the dark. What else you got, Landon?
CD Projekt Red execs that said that they will release a physical cartridge of Cyberpunk 2077 for the Switch 2. Telling other studios, do not underestimate the physical edition.
Okay. So this is kind of what I've been talking about when it comes to the Switch 2. That's a pretty beefy game to be on a handheld console.
apparently it's good enough to run Cyberpunk 2077.
Sure.
Well, they did also release it for the PS4, and it was not great on there. So
Yeah.
it at least has to hit that low bar of a console 2 generations behind this one. Or 1 gener. 2? 1? I don't know. Anyway.
It's one. Yeah.
Still, though, it's interesting that they are releasing a physical copy in this age of constantly trying to get rid of physical editions of games.
It's interesting that the cyberpunk futuristic technology-based game is releasing a physical
Good point.
cartridge. Out of all the ones to be leaked or talked about, like I wouldn't be surprised for a lot of other things. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see an Oblivion cartridge, but Cyberpunk, it's like, here's some retro tech. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe that's the angle.
I mean, it's still like these cartridges are still advanced for what we have now. It's better than CDs. It's better than, just whatever. It's at this point, let's be real, streaming and downloading is becoming the less desirable forms of these things as more and more people realize that they don't own the stuff that they can download.
That's
so
valid.
maybe this is more of a future forward step than we realize.
Yeah. Sony recently stopped supporting. I actually think it's just the game studio. Recently stopped supporting War for Cybertron, the Transformers game, which had an online element, had a build your own Transformer element. And it's really unfortunate because I didn't get it and I really want to get it and I want to play it, but I can't get it on any streaming platform. I have to find a physical copy if I want the game to play it. And I don't even know if I can update the game to play it now because they're not supporting it anymore. So even if I bought an older disc, it may not work, which is crazy. That's just nuts that you can't just put a game in your system and play it. So yeah, this movement away from physical media is starting to become problematic. We're seeing more and more problems with it. There's, larger servers required to hold this data, more support, more people needing to be on the ground for this. And then we've got these major game studios laying people off left and right. How long is it going to be before a lot of these games we've been playing for years go away forever? Billy said, well, Danny, the game is about a fictional story. Oblivion didn't release on a sheepskin scroll. That's true, Billy. You're right. You are absolutely right on that one. Deontay the Giant in the chat. Deontay, glad you are here. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, you're right. It's been a minute since you've been in the chat, so I'm glad you're here.
I am too.
That rounds out gaming news, Landon.
I have just one more story, actually.
Oh, go ahead.
So we already talked about Nintendo taking Discord to the court, to judicial court. Now it is Bungie being taken to court. Bungie is currently being sued over copyright infringement. Somebody is claiming that they had stolen story elements from their blog for one of their expansions to Destiny 2.
Okay.
And Bungie tried to present over 10 hours of YouTube fan content. That was like deep dives, dissections, and supercuts of the game content from the expansion as evidence of, see, it's different. Here's examples of the legal distinctions between our property and the blog post. And the judge just shot them down. The judge claimed that there was not enough time for discovery, with it being over 10 hours of YouTube content. And this is from third parties, so it doesn't really matter in this situation, even if it is just clips of their own game repackaged.
Yeah. Also, just hearing that, it's like, what does that actually prove? Because the people would just be disseminating information that they had given out themselves on these videos. So they would just be telling the same story that Bungie is already telling. But so I don't know how that bolsters that. Our human relations specialist and fact checker extraordinaire, Ben Stewart, is in the chat. He said, there's like a lot of people on my screen. Yeah, Ben, you've been gone a minute. We've added some hosts. Billy said, if you want to fix that problem with losing your games, buy the physical copies. Totally true, Billy, other than the whole thing I just outlined a second ago before you posted that. But if Jen, did you have any opinions on that, the Bungie thing?
Not really.
Okay. I think that does it for the news. I hope this news didn't just graze you. This has been the bullet points. Welcome back to the show. Guys, we finally got what some people are calling a really good Marvel movie. It seems to be the overarching opinion that Thunderbolts is good. I saw it opening night. I've seen it a couple times since. I know Randy said he has seen it. Jen, have you had a chance yet?
Oh, I have not. I went and watched Sinners, not that.
Yeah. Landon?
I have not, but I have heard a lot of good things about it.
All right, prepare to get spoiled. Well, first off, this is the popcorn bucket that they had at the movie theater, which I'm pretty excited about. Yeah,
my
it is.
God!
I did not know that. That's actually sick.
It is Red Guardian's helmet. Pretty neat. This like spot right here in the middle of the forehead. You just push up on it, and it opens up. You can get in there and get your popcorn.
Oh, you can't wear it?
Oh, well, Randy, you can if your head isn't giant
You're
like mine.
square, because it has those bars on the side.
Because it does.
I'd rather just wear it.
It will go. If your head isn't enormous, like it fits Katrina, it does not fit me. But yeah, so first off, I am loving this novelty popcorn bucket game. Whatever they're doing, like they got my $30. I thought it was awesome.
I disagree. That one's cool, but I hate most of them. The Dune one was funny.
The Dune one was funny. The Deadpool and Wolverine one was really funny.
Was probably the peak for me.
Yeah,
I wanted the Alien one, but they didn't have it.
The myriad Deadpool and Wolverine ones they had was killer. I'm not going to get all of them. I don't have any of them. But just how crazy they went over that was nuts. Like the baby Deadpool, the Deadpool's head, Wolverine's open mouth. There was a handful of other ones.
Oh, I think I've only seen the.
There was like 6.
Okay.
And it depended on the theater you went to. So if it was like AMC, it was one type of popcorn bucket. If it was one of the other ones, I don't know. They were all different. Deontay said I might be the only person that's not intentionally going to see Thunderbolts again. So I guess he's either he didn't like it or he just wants to keep it to one viewing. Either way, I will say for me, I thought it was good. I enjoyed the movie. I do think that a lot of the reviews are mentioning that it had some slow stuff in the middle that does kind of creep a little bit in parts, and you're kind of like, all right, let's move the story along. You do get kind of that feeling at certain points. The fact that this movie is pretty much about mental health issues. That's the overarching villain of this movie is not one person. It's everybody's mental health issues and how bad of a time they're having in this post Endgame world. It works. It worked. Making that the big bad of the story was good. It kind of spoke to, I think, the time we're living in right now, but also that's something that superhero media has tackled before in comics a lot, and something that they have stayed away from with the MCU. There's a lot of like bright, flashy, poppy, quippy, like what's the next fun thing we can do? And they don't really address the overall trauma of a life built basically in combat all the time. And that's something that they did address in this movie, which I thought was really fun. They used the character of the Sentry and then his evil side, the Void, to kind of tell that dichotomy. And I think it did a really good job. I will say, I think they did Taskmaster dirty.
I thought they were the star of the show.
Yeah. I think they did Taskmaster dirty.
More than I thought they
we
were
all know that Taskmaster got the raw end of the stick in Black Widow, being not Taskmaster, basically. Because I don't care that it's a gender bent version of Taskmaster. That's not my problem with it. My problem with it is that Taskmaster is in line with Spider-Man and Deadpool for being one of the biggest smartasses and the biggest problems in the Marvel universe. And they did the exact same thing to Taskmaster that they did to Deadpool in X-Men Origins, wherein they made him a silent character who doesn't really get to be who Taskmaster is. And so I was really looking for an opportunity for this time, knowing that the character would be able to talk and interact and all of that, that we would get a little bit more of the real Taskmaster this time. And we did not. They had one line in the movie, and then they were summarily removed from the script for the rest of
Was it
the
even a
history of
line,
the
or did she
MCU.
just shush someone?
She said, "You're not my target."
Oh, okay.
That was her one line to Black
okay.
Widow. She said, "You're not my target." So that's my like one big complaint about the movie. Taskmaster was not Taskmaster again, and it was like Marvel like rubbing salt in the wound for me. I was like, what the fuck?
Even her like fight scene, it was not like Taskmaster's the like copies your abilities, right? Or
Yes,
copies your
Taskmaster can
movements.
exactly copy the muscle memory of anyone else just by seeing what they're doing.
Like has shield like Captain America,
Yes.
but doesn't do anything that copies. It shoots an arrow at one point.
Yeah. Yes,
but like
so she's fighting US agent, and exactly, she does some cool stuff in the fight, but I wouldn't say she was mimicking anybody's fight
like
style.
I wanted to see like mimicry, like what she does. Oh yeah, Taskmaster's a woman. I've been making jokes about with it with my friends, calling it woke Taskmaster. But that's like I'm like I think they did her dirty because of the backlash from Black Widow. But yeah, like no mimicry really. I think it was a missed opportunity. Just I mean, like if they both did like like the anime thing where like you punch each other's fists, like just have them do the same thing and punch each other's like fists and then kick and like kick each other in the face. I don't know.
I have seen a report that from like the original screenplay that they had and then the adaptation that they made afterward, they made some big changes between the original finished script and then the final script they went with. Taskmaster was supposed to feature in the film a lot longer, and she was supposed to make it to the end of the film, and she has memory issues due to her Red Room training and programming. And what was supposed to keep happening was that John Walker was her target. And so after they all decided to become friends and went on their little superhero team adventure, she would keep resetting to thinking he was her target and trying to kill her while they were trying to save people, or trying to kill him while they were trying to save people. But that apparently got scrapped when they decided to just remove Taskmaster from the script entirely, which I think would have been fun. I think Taskmaster could have been a really fun
but
character.
it is like a distraction that would just add to runtime and be like, oh, this again.
That being said, I think Sentry was done really well. I think without having to go back and tell the Silver Age storyline, that Sentry has always been in the Marvel comics and he's friends with all of the Marvel superheroes. And then in order to keep him from turning into the Void, they wiped his memory and hid his watchtower, and he didn't know he was a superhero because that's his comic origin. And then instead of that, they just made him a part of another super soldier program, which is very Ultimate Marvel, like the original Ultimate Marvel. That was their story, and that Wolverine was initially part of the super soldier program, which turned him into a mutant, and then he was the progenitor of all other mutants in the Ultimate storyline. And that's kind of what they've done with the super soldier program in the MCU. Most of your superheroes spin out of the super soldier program, with the exception of mutants, I think, and the Eternals. But I will say, overall, I thought it was great. John Walker, or U.S. Agent, as he's known in the comics, is my favorite version of the Captain America character in comics. He always has been. For starters, he wears a black costume. Totally works for me. And I've always had a problem with the iterations of Captain America you get, where either he's a super Boy Scout and he won't break any rules or whatever, and he just does whatever's right all the time, or he's this like uptight former soldier who is angry all the time. And those are usually the two versions of him you get. And I always thought U.S. Agent was much cooler. He's a super soldier, but he's kind of an anti-hero, and he's not afraid to break the rules that Captain America won't. And I've always just liked that character a lot better. Like Marvel vs. Capcom, I always switch to the U.S. Agent costume if I'm using Cap. So that being said, I still don't think they've done John Walker correctly in the movie. I think we didn't really get the hybrid Punisher, Captain America that U.S. Agent kind of always has been. But I think that the fact that Wyatt Russell's still around and he's going to be going into Doomsday, we still have the opportunity to finally get him right now that he's officially part of an Avengers team. For those of you who don't know, the Thunderbolts name in the movie was initially Yelena, the Black Widow's Pee Wee Soccer League that she was on as a kid. That was the name of her team, and so they jokingly make it the name of their superhero team. And then by the end of the movie, they actually become the New Avengers, which was supposed to be the name of the movie all along. And then Kevin Feige, I guess, at one point went, haha, what if we call it the Thunderbolts instead? So if those of us who are comic book fans, you will know that this follows much more closely to the Norman Osborn Dark Avengers storyline than it does with the actual Thunderbolt storyline. And they were technically the New Avengers in the comics that were actually called the Dark Avengers by Marvel Publishing. So now they are officially calling the movie the New Avengers instead of Thunderbolts. And they are making a social media push of them going around changing all of the Thunderbolts posters, the billboards, the bus station signs, everything to say New Avengers now instead of Thunderbolts. I saw a TikTok the other day of God, what's his name? Bucky. Sebastian Stan walking around in LA, going to bus stops, changing out the Thunderbolts posters for New Avengers posters. So that's been the big thing they're doing with this, the renaming of the Thunderbolts to the Avengers. That's what the asterisk meant, that the real title was coming after the movie released. And I think it's great. I think it's genius. I think the movie was well done. I don't think this should be the direction that all movies go going forward. But I think in this one instance, it was really good as far as reestablishing the world that the Avengers lived in and how they can move forward from there. Also, how many of you guys know what happens in the post-credit scene? No, you haven't ruined it for yourselves?
No.
I apologize. I don't want to spoil this for anyone, but as my co-host, I'm unapologetically going to spoil this for you.
If you do go see it and like you're gonna skip away because you don't want to hear the spoilers, don't watch the credits because apparently the credits spoil. I missed it, but the credits apparently spoil it once it gets to like songs.
Really?
Yeah.
So the final post-credit scene is the Avengers sitting around in the New Avengers Tower. With Sentry, who has recovered from being the Void, and he got his memory back. He remembers what happened in their fight. He's unable to use his powers because he knows now he can't be Sentry without also being Void, which is his thing in the comics. But as they are arguing about Sam Wilson, Captain America, suing the New Avengers for the use of the Avengers trademark and how he's trying to trademark it for his own team, they get a warning of a vessel coming in from another dimension, basically coming out of hyperspace. And it is the Fantastic Four spaceship coming into the MCU. So there have been some theories that the end of the Fantastic Four movie will be them failing to stop Galactus and Reed shunting them into the MCU as a way to save his family. But we're unsure as to what that actually means. But the end of the movie shows the Fantastic Four's ship flying into the scene. So that's pretty cool. I can't wait to see Fantastic Four because that's going to kind of open that up. We're like 2 months out from getting Armor Wars, the Riri Williams Disney Plus series. Did anybody realize that?
I was gonna say I saw a thing where they were talking about like they haven't done a push for it.
There's
like at
no
all.
marketing for it, so I'm
But-
not optimistic about that show.
So in the credits, apparently they have like the Fantastic Four theme
Yeah,
listed as
yes.
one of the songs, and like people were like, "Oh," which like it's like literally 10 seconds before the scene
right.
starts.
Yeah,
but,
it's right. You know,
but yeah.
the music credits are the last thing before the post-credit scene. But,
but,
yeah, you do see it.
But yeah,
it's right there on the right.
I did. I was turning to my friends. I was like, "Does that not spoil the Fantastic Four movie?" Because in my mind, it means they failed.
I
and they
knew
had to,
going
like, jump
in
ship.
that-
Which I mean, like Galactus is on the planet. That's a lot of times Dunzo Bunzo for whatever.
They
planet
definitely
he's on.
could have put that music credit at the end.
Yeah,
After.
yeah.
But I was spoiled going in. I knew that we were getting a Fantastic Four post-credit
Okay.
scene.
See, I didn't. I avoided most of the trailers and everything because they just can't do a trailer without spoiling stuff. And I heard that this one, which I knew Sentry and Void and stuff, but it's like they need to work on their trailer like clipping because they spoil so much.
Well, they
so
did
bad.
and didn't, like, because you don't know what you can and cannot trust in a Marvel trailer
Mhm.
because they photoshopped Taskmaster into later scenes in the movie,
Mhm.
even though Taskmaster dies.
There was on
way
a
ahead of that
there was on a
in the movie.
podcast that I listened to, and they like said from the first trailer they were like, most of the time whenever like it shows Taskmaster, it's in a single room, or they're not like interacting with anybody. So they were like, I don't think Taskmaster's going to be in it very much.
The fact that she wasn't listed in the chairs
Yeah.
for Doomsday and the rest of the Thunderbolts cast was pretty much a dead giveaway.
Mhm.
But that being said, Sentry was awesome. I look forward to seeing how they plan to use him going forward in the MCU. I want to see some actual Sentry fights. I don't know if we'll get where they kind of balance it out and he gets a little bit of Sentry before he becomes Void again. But this guy's powerful, like way, way more powerful than anyone else in the MCU. And they show that in the comics. Sentry's known for ripping Ares' head in half, which is a Greek god equivalent in power to Thor. In the comics, it is canonic that Thor is more powerful than Sentry, that he's the more powerful of the two of them. But based on what we saw in this movie, that is not the case.
They even have a conversation about it because he's like, you said I was stronger than any of the Avengers. Or he says I'm more powerful than a god. And she's
It's
like,
more powerful than
like,
any of the Avengers, and
and
one of them is a god.
Yeah, and
so
he's
that
like,
makes
I
me
didn't
a
say
god.
that. And she's like, yeah, well, one of them's a god. So
yeah. Well, Sentry is one of multiple analogs for Superman that the MCU has.
In the comics, is the Void a separate entity?
So they've never definitively answered how what the Void is in comparison to Sentry. He has been theorized to be an entity that lives outside of Bob's body that has infected him because of his Sentry power, like the Phoenix. It has also been theorized that it is just super depression, like the highest, most crazy part of like a DID depression, where it's a dissociative identity disorder that he has compartmentalized all of his trauma and depression into. But they've never definitively answered it in the Marvel Comics what the Void actually is. It is just that any time you get Sentry, whatever amount of time you get Sentry, you get an equal amount of Void. You can't separate them from each other. And Bob has never been able to effectively get rid of Void permanently, which is why he's so sparsely used in the comics. And then his struggles with mental health and addiction and all of that have been pretty well featured in the comics. He was played very well as a humorous and dangerous character at the same time, a sympathetic character, and someone you genuinely want good things for in the midst of all of this that's going on. And you kind of feel really bad for him while he has the power of, Billy said, how powerful is Sentry compared to the MCU Captain Marvel? Sentry is more powerful than the MCU Captain Marvel. I would say in this, canonically in the comics, he's more powerful than Captain Marvel. In the comics, the version of the super soldier serum that Bob got was supposed to give him theoretically the power of 1 million exploding suns. That's the power they claim he has in the comics, which is a lot. That's a fucking lot. That's 1 million black holes. That's you break that up. That's 500,000 quasars, the most powerful thing that we know of in the universe.
It's a lot of horsepower.
But in the movie, they list him as having the power of 1,000 exploding suns, which is only 500 quasars, which is still 500 of the most powerful thing in known existence. So, who knows?
If I had to guess, that would probably be like the if we do like a battle world Doomsday, if that's what Doomsday is going to be, like everybody fighting everybody, that's probably going to be the matchup, would be Sentry versus like a Captain Marvel. But
Yeah,
I think it could be like the whole thing where like, you know, everybody seems to hate on Captain Marvel. So could be the like, she's the top spot and now she's the second spot.
Well,
like have
in the
him
definitive-
win. So like, you know, I could see them doing that. Be like, okay, she's not the most powerful anymore. Are you guys happy?
In the
Like, kind of
definitive
thing.
power scaling of the MCU, we've never fully established whether Captain Marvel's more powerful than Thor or
Mhm.
Photon, or you know, there's technically four, but Kamala Khan obviously isn't in that power scale. But there's three concurrent Captain Marvels existing in that universe currently, across the multiverses, and we've never seen who's the most powerful of that set. We never saw her toe to toe with Thor. We do know that she overpowered Thanos while Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man were struggling to defeat him. But that fight didn't last very long, so who knows? But it does seem to be that the general idea is that Captain Marvel is currently the most powerful, but what they're describing Sentry as and what we know Sentry as in the comics, he outscales her by a lot. But then you toy around with that, like Thor's beaten, or Hulk's beaten Thor, Thor's beaten Hulk, Juggernaut's beaten Hulk. You know, Sentry's killed a god with power equivalent to Thor. Thor's beaten Sentry. Like, I guess it depends on the day and the writer. It's really hard to know what the actual power scaling is for these characters.
It's however the writer feels that day.
Yeah.
I will say one of my favorite quotes from the original Sin storyline, they were going around giving superheroes contaminated Asgardian powers that made them stronger. And there was a version of Hulk in that story that was Banner was more powerful than the regular Hulk. And he was evil, and he was fighting against Thor, and Thor said, Hulk says something about having always beaten Thor in the past, and Thor says something along the lines of, you know what's great about all those times you beat me in the past, Banner? And he says, what? And he says, I was holding back, and then he knocks him out in one hit. You know, again, power scaling's all over the place with comics, but ideally, I believe they have stated that Thor is more powerful than Sentry, so he's always supposed to be the peak of like most powerful in the Marvel universe.
I mean, he is a god.
It's true.
I mean, got the power of the All-Father.
But anyway, that does it for my review of Thunderbolts. I hope you guys get a chance to see it soon. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Speaking of things I can't wait to hear what you think about, this week on the hit list, we are talking about our 5 favorite Nintendo games. Welcome to the hit list. This week we're discussing our 5 favorite Nintendo games. This could be from any system, any game produced by Nintendo. You may know Nintendo from their origins as a rice cooker company, but I know them from their introduction of home consoles to the mass market. You know, some people would say Atari. Get the fuck out of here with that. Nintendo's the one that brought the real thing. It's their Famicom system, meaning family computer, that we know as the regular Nintendo or the regular NES. Jen, would you be so kind as to kick us off with your number 5?
Sure. My number 5 is F-Zero. So this was a racing game that you could play. Actually, you know, these top 5, a lot of these games have a lot of sentimental feelings for me, because a lot of time growing up, me and my brother always used to play F-Zero, and I can't tell you how many hours and hours that we played that, but my brother would always use the yellow one, and then I always do the pink one because I can never make those turns very good, so I always had to bump off stuff.
Gotcha. I wasn't a huge F-Zero player. I think I might have played it a couple of times. I will say I'm always appreciative for F-Zero giving us one of the greatest Smash Brothers character of all time, which is Captain Falcon.
Yeah. I think he was the blue car. Pretty sure.
He's basically like the main character of F-Zero, right? Like that's kind of he's the speed racer of
He's the only
F-Zero.
one I know.
Yeah.
He's the only one I know from
Yeah,
the series.
again, yeah, the only one I know by name for sure.
Show me your moves.
Landon, any F-Zero time?
I've played a bit of it, getting on SNES emulators. You're always going to play a bit of that. It's classic.
Yeah. What'd you have for number 5?
Oh, my number 5?
Yeah.
Talking about classics, it's Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Yeah, I feel as
Sorry, the picture makes me crack up.
I love it.
I've never played this version.
Link has never been that powerful.
I mean, what are y'all talking about? That's a perfectly average picture of Ocarina of Time.
You're right. I'm laughing because Zelda looks funny.
Exactly. You forget how dated these graphics can really be.
I love it.
But-
I don't want to take it down.
But it's just a classic. It's just a classic. It really is. Like, I think a lot of people overhyped it a lot over the years. I wouldn't call it the greatest game of all time. After all, it's just my number 5, but it was still a massive leap ahead for what it was. It was incredible.
That is
Story,
my-
writing, gameplay.
That is my number 2 favorite Legend of Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
And Ocarina of Time was a game, like literally a game changer, but it was a game changer. Like, it brought some elements into gaming that we had not previously seen, whether it was the playable instrument in game, which I think we can argue that gave rise to eventually Rock Band and Guitar Hero, because people were writing songs on the ocarinas and uploading them to the internet, like how you can play this song, whatever. People were putting serious time into that. And if you don't believe that those periphery video music games didn't spin out of that, I think there's a good argument that they did. There's a lot of really cool mechanics, switching from over the shoulder to first person shooter view with the bow. That was one of the first games to ever do that, which I thought was really cool. And the slingshot as well. And horseback riding. We'd had games to that point like Gallop Racer, which has been a long-standing Sony franchise that was on the PS1. But we got Ocarina of Time around that same time. There hadn't been a lot of fun horse racing games before. And now you look at games like Elden Ring, Oblivion, Skyrim, Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, and having your own steed has become a common mechanic for video game characters. And I can't think of anything that did it before, or did it as well before Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. It's Ocarina of Time, like I was saying before, it was revolutionary for its time. But yeah, it was good. It was a great game. It's my number 5.
Yep.
It's the first one that I've ever played and beat. I got the GameCube with the 4 Zelda games together, and then a demo of Wind Waker.
Yeah.
And I had a booklet that ran you through each dungeon, because I don't think I can play that game without the Majora's Mask. Was another one where I was like, I don't think I can play that one without a guide.
Yeah. Funny story. Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite. It is my favorite game franchise. I have the Master Sword tattooed on my collarbone. I love Legend of Zelda. It is huge for me. It's been part of my development for my formative years. Link is a left-handed warrior, one of the only ones in video gaming, and I'm left-handed. He appeals to me as a character. But full disclosure, I've never played Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, or Twilight Princess. And I never played I did play Ocarina of Time. I never played Majora's Mask. Some of the most important seminal games of the modern Zelda era, I've never played. I played Breath of the Wild, I played Tears of the Kingdom, and then I played Ocarina of Time, obviously, and then the previous games before that. But those other 3 major games or 3 major timelines, I've never.
You gotta fill those holes.
I know. I think I'm gonna get them on the Switch Digital Console, so I can actually knock them out, because I just feel really bad that I haven't.
Yeah.
Space Boy says, "Bro, Danny, I even played those."
Oh, sorry, I let you down,
I don't
Space Boy.
even video game much.
Randy, what did you have for your number 5?
My number 5 is the first game that I ever beat all the way through, Yoshi Story.
Okay.
I would rent it from like our video game store, or not video game store, or video store, and you could rent it for 2 days, or on Friday you would get it for 3 days.
Oh yeah, that was definitely
that
the move.
was like that was what
The
I always
Friday
did.
rental.
We got like a Friday night rentals, and I would get different games, but Yoshi Story was the first one that I went all the way through, and I beat it, and then got to like the end credits or whatever it does, and I was like, oh okay, I've never seen the end of a game apparently, so I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I just start over. But it's really fun. It's really just like a platforming. I think like you know, kind of just Yoshi but a platformer, and it's very fun. I don't remember enough of it, but when the store closed, I was able to buy, like, they were selling all the games, and I was able to buy that and like Star Fox and like a couple other games.
Yeah.
One of which should be my number 1, but isn't. But it's the Superman N64 game.
Oh really?
You know, the notoriously good game.
Yeah, everybody loves
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah. And then a Batman Beyond game
is
that I've never
the
been able to play.
Atari game on your list too? Oh,
Mhm.
just kidding.
I don't know what that one is, but I'm assuming it's a very
it's
good
an
game.
unplayable game. ET is unplayable. You like start the game off, you like I think you like fall into a hole or something, and then you can't get out of it, and you cannot move forward in the game at all.
Yeah.
Like it's the worst, like one of the worst games they've ever released.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great number 5 as well. I've never played it. Anybody else played Yoshi Story?
Mm-mm.
No.
Can't say I have.
Yeah, you're all alone on that one. Randy, what do we have in chat?
Let's see. We have Space Boy says the Phoenix Wright series, fun dialogue, fun characters, good shit.
Yeah, I've never played any of the Phoenix Wright games, but I've seen like videos and stuff of them, and I know that like Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright is like a really popular series that people love.
Mainly just
Aren't
know
those-
the objection. Objection.
Isn't that Capcom?
Well, it's a Game Boy game.
I mean, yeah, but
It's on a Nintendo system.
it's on a Nintendo system.
We'll let this one slide since you don't.
I want
to
to be very clear. I don't think all 5 of mine are either Nintendo only games. They're just from a Nintendo system.
Same.
So stop gatekeeping, Landon.
Is it gatekeeping or is it following the rules? Someone's got to give a damn about the rules.
Billy, these are the rules that a U.S. agent would break. This is what I was referring to.
You're the paragon of the podcast.
Landon's being a real Captain America right now.
We can't all be anarchists. We can't all go crazy about this. Someone's got to keep us in line.
As a utopian anarchist, I take umbrage with you using the word anarchy to mean chaos. They are not the same thing.
I know, but please, Danny, I'm not in the mood for an anarchist rant right now. Please,
Okay,
dear God.
all right. I'll save you guys all for my anarchist rant.
Speaking
Oh,
of
I wouldn't hear
anarchy,
it, but okay.
Different show.
Luigi's
Different show.
Mansion.
Oh yes, Luigi's Mansion. Did play Luigi's Mansion. That was a great game for the GameCube. Yeah, who would have imagined that Luigi in a solo adventure would actually be fun to play?
Who knew?
I don't know. I think a lot of people here like Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I think we got
yes.
some mentions of Luigi earlier too.
Yes, it's a lot like people's love of Qui-Gon Jinn, though. We like Luigi now. You can't be like Qui-Gon Jinn was the greatest Jedi, and I thought that whenever Phantom Menace came out. Nobody thought that.
Nobody
It wasn't
said
until
that.
Liam Neeson started Taken that everybody was like, "Oh, Qui-Gon Jinn was awesome." Nobody said that shit before Taken. Nobody.
Nope.
And Ben will say that he did, and he's a liar. Anyway.
B.E. Rhodes says Little Nemo Dream Master. It was a game based on the Little Nemo in Slumberland movies and comics. Landon, is that a Nintendo property?
I don't know. Landon, is it?
I don't know.
Get 'em.
I may
Get
or may
'em.
not be Googling it right now.
Oh my god.
Your ass is grass. I think that's all we have in chat. I don't know that game, so I can't really comment on it. But I know Little Nemo. I feel like I've seen like the cover
I've
of a
seen
movie,
it. I
but I
can't
don't
think
know
of it
what
right
it is.
now. But I'm familiar with it. But okay, so that's everything we have in chat.
I believe so.
All right, my number 5 was a game that, and it's on my list, very similar to why your list is the way it is, Jen. It's
Mhm.
on my list because I remember having the best time with this game with
Right.
my brothers, my little brothers, my older brother. And we played a lot of this game, but it is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game for the Super Nintendo. So this game was a lot of fun. It's a very much the game plays as a hybrid of like a beat 'em up game like Streets of Rage or Double Dragon or the old Ninja Turtles game. And then you switch from the street level fighting with putties to fighting the large bosses in the Megazord. And so it transitions back and forth between that. And then the really cool thing is that as you play through the game and beat the enemies, it unlocks them and unlocks a fighting mode version of the game where you get to play as the Megazord, the Mighty Morphin Megazord, and the villains in a fighting game. So it has a lot of replay value, and it's the first game I can think of that did that, where it had a game and that game turned into another game. Much later with the PS2, the Square Enix game Bouncer did the same thing, where as you finished fights, it unlocked the characters and put them in a Street Fighter style fighting game, which was a lot of fun. But the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game was just a blast, and I remember me and my little brothers playing it a lot, playing the fighting game. We had a really good time with it. I think my brother Joey, my older brother, we played it a lot, and it was just a really fun game. So I love it.
Love it.
Jen, what did you have for your number 4?
So my number 4 is Super Mario World. Again, this is one that my brother and I played. I can't tell you how many times we played this stinking game. We would, we had a blast. I want to say, guys, I'm sure you guys will correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time I can remember us using Yoshi during one of the games. It could be an earlier one, but this was the first time I played where you could actually use Yoshi. And it was yeah.
I think that's accurate. I don't believe Yoshi was in Super Mario Brothers 3, which is the game right before Super Mario World. I think that was the first game to feature Yoshi.
Okay, because I was like, I thought I remember that this was the first time that you could actually use Yoshi. So that was we were so excited, like, oh my god, there's that! Oh my god, we got Yoshi! And it was a blast. And you can pick the different color Yoshis that that you could get. So yeah, we had a lot of fun playing this game too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the cool thing about Super Mario World was it really improved on what Super Mario Brothers 3 did well, and then gave us the new dynamic of having Yoshi as well, which was, that changed gaming forever. I couldn't imagine the world without Yoshi in it.
Oh, I love Yoshi. He's the best.
Landy, what did you have for number 4?
All right, my number 4, again, on the Nintendo 64, it's Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah. Straight pimpin'.
Can you sing us the entire DK rap?
So they're finally here, performing for you. If you know, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not doing the rest.
That was good. That was good, Landon.
I just
more
know
than I
he's
knew.
the leader of the bunch. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail. Is that how it goes?
Yes.
Right there.
I remember playing, there's like a battle mode in this game, right? Like you can be in like a little arena. It's like you try to knock each other out, and like Dixie Kong has like extendo arms. That's all I remember about it. Or maybe it's her pigtails.
Yeah, she had her pigtails.
On my bingo card for this episode,
so mad.
I did not have a Randy flexing on Landon rap battle square, and I wish I had, because I could not have predicted that in a million years.
Well, Danny, I'm so happy to provide that for you, even though it was a very sad rap battle on my end.
Look, we're all white. The rap battle's only going to be so good anyway.
I have no rhythm. I just can remember lyrics sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I think that was peak for us.
But the reason why this is on my list is similar to Jen and Danny's is because it was one of the few Nintendo 64 games my family actually owned. It was this and Mario Kart 64. All other Nintendo All other 64 games I played, I either borrowed from friends or got from elsewhere, but this is the ones that we owned. So this is the one I played over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know, it's a core part of my childhood at this point.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I think for my money, I don't think I ever played Donkey Kong 64. I don't think I played past Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 because I didn't play the Diddy Kong game. I didn't really get into the racing game. So I think really my Donkey Kong journey ended at Country 2. But I've seen enough of this game to know that it looks fun. I just never got into it.
It's a collect-a-thon. If you like collecting things, you'll have fun with it.
Randy, what did you have for your number 4?
My number 4 is one of my childhood Pokemon games, Sapphire. I was a Sapphire kid, but Ruby, Sapphire, they were the two that came out together, and then Emerald's also part of this.
Yeah.
But it has one of my favorite Pokemon, which is the one I got as a starter, Trico.
Oh.
I like Sceptile, but Trico's the starter. It's not the first game that I had, but it was one of the ones that I played the absolute shit out of.
Yeah.
And, just played it all the time. And then I think I lost the copy or one of them, it got stolen. I think it got stolen. But not gonna get into that. But I bought a second copy, so I've owned 2 copies of it, and I still have it somewhere. I don't know if it still functions, but just absolutely. This was the start of no lifing games. Where ran through so many batteries.
All right. Well, what do we have in chat?
In chat we have Star Fox.
Oh, Star Fox is a great choice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to break that down too much. It may or may not be on somebody else's list.
The GameCube Star Fox, where I think you are very rarely in a battleship.
Isn't that like Star Fox Adventure?
I think so, yeah.
Or something like that. And then there's Star Fox and there's Star Fox 64. Both great games. But yeah, I'll break that down here in a minute.
Snake Rattle and Roll for the NES. You navigate an isometric 2D map and collect shit and avoid enemies. Typical video game shit. Oh, and you can play as either Rattle or Roll. Both were snakes.
I hate whenever this happens because I feel so bad. But Billy, I have no idea what that game is.
Neither.
I'm not familiar with Snake Rattle and Roll at all.
I've seen a little bit of it. It's not something that ever moved the needle for me just watching it. Yeah. Maybe actually playing it's a lot of fun. Can't really say.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up for Danny to see. It looks fun and silly.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Q*bert a little bit.
It looks like a 3D Sonic game that I used to play at the orthodontist office.
Okay.
I never had braces, but my sister did, and I spent many hours in the waiting room for my sister to be done.
Yeah.
And they got a SNES, which was so cool.
My number 4, there's a bit of a story behind this one too, but it isn't just a game. It's also a peripheral, and that is the Super Scope 6. So I remember the year this came out, I asked for it for Christmas, and my mom set me down and gave me the hard news that Santa probably couldn't afford the Super Scope 6 this year, which Santa's got all them damn elves, and mom and dad had 8 kids, so damn. So I did not have my heart set on the Super Scope 6. Didn't anticipate getting it, and whenever I opened that weirdly shaped present on Christmas morning and it was my Super Scope 6, I lost my ever-loving mind. That was one of the best opening a present feelings I've ever had in my life. I think a lot of it has paled in comparison since. But I can tell you from personal experience, as a kid, now as an adult, I may not love the Super Scope Periphery. I have no idea. But as a kid, you know what makes Tetris a lot better? A shoulder-mounted rocket launcher.
Who knew?
Yeah. Do you know what makes Whack-A-Mole a lot better? A shoulder-mounted rocket launcher. You know how Duck Hunt was kind of fun? Yeah. What if you're shooting land-to-air missiles out of the sky with a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher?
That's the way you should be duck hunting.
Fucking Nintendo was going the right direction with that. Like, there should have been, like, an action mace that they introduced some years later, and maybe, like, a build-your-own-tank kit or something. instead of going more for like the handhelds, because that seemed the right direction to me. Like a fucking rocket launcher is what I'm playing my game with. You know, Duck Hunt, you get the little light gun, and it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like the game, what's his name? The Nintendo kid from Game Game Master or whatever.
Mhm.
You guys remember that? It was a cartoon that ran concurrently with the Legend of Zelda cartoon, and he had the Duck Hunt gun. His belt buckle was the NES controller, and then he had the power glove.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it now, though.
I missed that.
That kid was okay, but could you imagine if he'd had a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher? That's what I want. Now, it did shortly feature in the original Super Mario Brothers movie as an actual rocket launcher, which wasn't as cool because that movie fucking sucks. But was it Captain N, Billy? Thank you. But I love it. I wish I still had it, and I cannot tell you how much I played with it not connected to my Nintendo, pretending it was a rocket launcher. Like, it was so multi-purpose. And it was a blast. I love it, and I want another one. I wish that they would release like a plug and play Super Scope 6 like they did with the NES and the SNES. But I love the Super Scope 6. It was so fun, and I really, really miss having it. I believe I broke it at some point, being a kid. But awesome, great memories around it. And I wish that they would come out with cool shit like that for video games, and people wouldn't be like, that makes kids violent. But anyway, Jen, what did you have for your number 3?
My number 3 is GoldenEye. The 007 GoldenEye. Look at those graphics.
Yeah, look at that.
That's totally Pierce Brosnan.
Those are some sexy pixels.
Right?
That's what he looks like.
You know, right, back in the day, we were like, oh my God, look, his face, it looks just like him. Now it's like,
yeah, yeesh.
Yeah. But again, my brother and I, endless hours of playing GoldenEye. It was probably one of the most fun first-person shooters and stuff that we played, and I just absolutely loved it. And I'll probably go back and play it if I still had it. So
I would say prior to Borderlands, GoldenEye was probably the one first-person shooter I had spent the most time on
100% agree.
prior to getting my hands on Borderlands, and then I was like, well, this is a lot of fucking fun. So I stayed in that. But like, I was never a Halo guy. I played Destiny for a little while, but just long enough to finish the first story. So like, I've just never really been a big first-person shooter guy. But GoldenEye, yeah, me and my friends, first time you could do like 4-on-4 matches, or I guess every man for himself, 4-man matches and stuff. Crazy, incredible.
It was one that I missed because like I didn't have a N64 in time, or I don't know. It wasn't the game that like I got. So I missed that, and then I feel like ever since then I've just been behind on first-person shooters because I never had that like foundational experience with GoldenEye.
Fun story. I've told this on here before, but you probably haven't heard it, Randy. But my brother worked at Kmart, and I had saved up a bunch of money and had enough to just buy the N64 when it released. And so he had taken one off of a pallet ahead of the like pre-release of it and hid it somewhere. And that night that it released, he grabbed it, bought it for me, and brought it home. So I had the N64 the night it released.
That's awesome.
I had it for 2 weeks, and then my grades came in, and I was failing 2 classes, and my parents grounded me from my N64 that I bought with my own money, mind you. That was my property, and I didn't get it back for 3 months. So I had the N64 day one, had it for 2 weeks, and then had to wait 3 months for grades to come out again for me to get it back.
Damn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was passing all my classes in 3 months.
We can talk about that more. That sounds like you. Oh man, I'm devastated for you.
I caught up. It's fine. Landy, what do you got for your number 3?
Are we on number 3? Yeah, number 3. My number 3 is Punch-Out Wii. Now, I want you to remember the original Punch-Out for NES.
Doing it.
Now, think about the characters and imagine them after they've boiled away all of the racism.
Is there even a game left?
And what little bit of personality they have left in those characters, they expand on it in a way that's actually kind of entertaining to fight against. Now, imagine actually having to throw punches at all the characters, moving and bobbing to get out of the way, and you're left sweating after every fight because you actually have to move enough just to keep up.
Yeah.
That's Punch-Out Wii, and I loved it when I played it as a kid.
So much fun.
Mhm.
Does the turban look better with upgraded graphics?
Yes, the turban looks better with upgraded graphics, but it is still the Wii, so it's like a slightly beefier GameCube. So do with that what you will.
Yeah. And Mike Tyson's not in this one?
Mike Tyson is not in this. He's replaced by a character named Mr. Sandman because he'll put you to sleep.
Oh,
Is he the one on the screen right now with the purple glove in front of him?
No, that is not him.
Okay.
That's the Disco Kid.
I don't know. I never played this.
I will give the cover designers credit. All of these characters are just from the first circuit, so they don't spoil anything past the first part of the game. So good on them.
I see
Thunderbolts
Glass
could
Joe.
take
I
a-
recognize him. And then
Von Kaiser's behind him.
Yeah, and then the guy at the bottom is the one that has the tape X on his belly button, right?
Mm-hmm. That's King Hippo.
Yeah, King Hippo.
Now take a look at King Hippo, and take a look at this.
Oh my god.
that's wrong.
Indistinguishable.
So wrong.
You need a little crown.
Oh, moving along. Randy, what'd you get for number 3?
For number 3, sorry guys, this will be my last show. I will not be invited back. Super Mario Bros. 3.
Oh yeah.
Good one.
It is my cousins had it for their Nintendo. What game was this on? Was it just the Super
NES?
That's NES.
NES?
It's
Okay.
NES.
I used to play it all the time. There are what me and my sister would call dancing boogers on the first overworld. You cannot tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, they're trees, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
And yeah, I love this game. I had it for the Game Boy Advance when it came out on that. I again still have my Game Boy Advance stuff somewhere, but I don't even know if I ever beat it all the way through. But I adore this game. I got so good at the match 3 lines as they fly by. Had it down to a science.
I can tell you that my mom tells a story about how growing up poor in the 50s, she'd never seen a color television until she watched The Wizard of Oz. The first time she ever saw a color scene, she went over to somebody's house who had it, and she watched it, and they had a color TV, and so whenever the color opens up on the show, that's the first time she'd ever seen anything in color on a TV, and she tells that story, and I think it's incredible. And I feel like this game is where I got that kind of, this is what a game could be. I remember I had played Super Mario Brothers 2, and they're both okay, but they're not cool. They don't do anything dynamic graphically, but Super Mario Brothers 3 does. From Mario's tail spinning, the way he uses his capability, all the stuff that you can do in that game just blew my fucking mind compared to what games I had played previously. And I remember being like, wow, this is what video games could be. And I always have a very warm spot in my heart for what Super Mario Brothers 3 is to me as a gamer.
Because it was the first Mario game that I played. I didn't play the Super Mario Bros. Well, maybe I did in daycare or something, but because I think they had one there. But this was the one that I first played and knew what I was doing, and then the song still gets stuck in my head. The do because the little dancing.
Landon,
dancing
it looked like
boogers.
you had a question when I was telling the Wizard of Oz story.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for the Wizard of Oz story, that is the perfect movie to have your first color TV experience with, because that's what the movie was pretty much made for, with going from black and white in Kansas to color in Oz.
Yeah. Shout out to my mom's friend, whomever that was oh, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna blow her fucking mind.
Yeah. My uncle was talking about kind of a similar story. I don't think he went to someone's house, but he was demanding from his family that he gets the TV that has color because he wanted to see it in color.
Yeah.
And they were all but they let him do it. So, but yeah, it is like you said, the perfect movie made for that spectacle like to be the first thing.
Yeah. Randy, what do we have in chat?
In chat we have
Billy's the first one.
Dr. Mario. Yeah, it's just another Tetris clone among countless, but this was one of my favorite versions. It's probably my third most played game on the Switch. That is a very fun game. I've like only played it like a few times because like I'd never owned it, but like we've talked about several games that are like on the Switch now, and I'm like, I need to get the what did you call it? What's the
the virtual console?
Virtual console stuff.
Billy, I will say, yeah, while Dr. Mario is technically a Tetris analog, I think that it improved upon the idea of Tetris in a lot of ways. And there's a reason that character has such a lasting legacy in the Mario world. Yeah, fucking Dr. Mario is an awesome game.
I wouldn't necessarily say improved on, but it definitely differentiates enough, not just in like a legal sense, it's a different entity, but also very much in just like a gameplay. If you're playing this, you're not going to confuse it for Tetris kind of feeling.
Yeah, whereas it was lining up colors and Tetris is lining up shapes, you know.
And also you're doing it with already preset things. You're trying to get rid of viruses instead of just go as far as you can with blocks.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I meant, I guess, by the improving on the Tetris game, in that you got an objective besides stacking shit. You know what I mean? Stacking shit and lining shit up. And I think that because even Tetris has introduced like explosives and just different things that change the gameplay. And, you know, while Tetris is the father of that style game, I would say that it definitely, you know, got a lot of updates post Dr. Mario. What else we got?
OG Mario Kart.
Fuck yeah, dude.
See, for the longest time, I thought OG was like N64, but there's one before that.
Yeah, there's a Super Nintendo one.
I've never played that one.
But the difference between the two, they might as well be different games. Like,
yeah, that's for for the original SNES one. It really is like a different beast. All the tracks are incredibly flat. The coins on the tracks are flat on the ground, and you just run over them. It's a different beast, and I'd argue not as fun of a beast, but hey, it's not my list.
So yeah, the thing that the huge difference I think between the two is that in the SNES version, the car stays in one place and the track moves.
Okay.
And so instead of you moving the car left to right on the screen, you turn and your car turns and the map moves underneath it. Like it's very different from what the next entry into the chapter is, whereas you get like they added drifting and jumping and like it was very different games, I would say. Billy had a comment on the Wizard of Oz thing. He said Wizard of Oz, and it kind of follows what Landon was saying. Wizard of Oz is a great movie to first see color TV. I would say that feeling with me was Super Mario World. The colors are incredibly bright and so alive feeling. Totally agree with that. Billy said, fucking hell. SNES was trying its best, guys. We're not being critical of the SNES, buddy. You know, it was a different time.
Listen, the SNES can do a lot of things great. That just wasn't in its wheelhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like asking me to fly a plane. I can do a lot of other things. I can't fly a fucking plane.
There's a TikTok of like a little girl who's like trying to paint nails, and she's, you know, getting on her fingers when the mom says that, and she's like has like a southern accent. She goes, "I'm trying my best, honey." And that's the SNES. It was trying.
Bingo card. I did not have Randy being a southern accented preschooler on the card either. God, I am losing all sorts of points today. Jen, what did you have for your number 2?
Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. Actually, Landon, copying you a little bit. Yeah. But
no, go ahead.
No, again, this was one of the games that me and my big brother played. Absolutely loved it. Part of my job was to have a notebook and write down the up, down, left, right for all of the songs that you would play. I would keep track. And my brother's like, which one's for the sun? I was like, oh wait, it's this one. And I'm like, it's up, down, left, right, and so yeah, that was part
How
of
long did you do that before you figured out that you could just open a menu and look at them?
It was longer than I'd like to admit. We didn't know that, but hey, we kept track of it.
Real quick, without thinking, what's the first song that comes to mind, like that you can like just pull out like the tune of?
I have my answer.
Oh gosh,
I got mine.
remember the tune. I
There's one that
remember
just pops into my head all the time, and I'm like, I don't know why.
Is it the lullaby?
I think mine
Zelda's Lullaby?
Is it?
No,
Well, okay, now I'm double.
No. That one.
Yeah.
No, mine is
Yeah,
Epona
I think it's
song.
the
Mine's a
lullaby.
Epona song.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know
exactly-
why, but like Epona is the one that sticks in my head, and I'll just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That for me, it was always "Song of the Storms."
Oh, that's
See,
a
I
good one.
wanted it to be something cool.
Song of Storms is great because it's got a little bit of discord in it, where
Mhm.
the rest of them don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I do really like that one too.
That's a really good one.
But the one that pops in my head all the time is Epona's song.
Yep. Landy, what do you got for number 2?
Oh, I think we skipped your number 3.
I was about to
We
say,
skipped
yeah,
my number 3.
Yeah.
yeah.
Guys, it's my show. How do we do this? My number 3, going back. Thank you, Randy, Landy, and Jen. That's the name of our sitcom. Anyway, my number 3. This one again because of the connection I have to it because of my brother. My brother Joey, the brother immediately older than me, and I played this game way too fucking much. And it's Super Double Dragon. Now I love fighting games. I love beat 'em ups. I love Streets of Rage. I love, especially the older Ninja Turtle games and all of that stuff. But Super Double Dragon has a very special place in my heart. Billy and Jimmy Lee, great characters. I was so excited about the movie coming out based on this game, and it's such dog shit compared to the game, and I was so let down about that. But I love this game. I love the gameplay. I love the weapons that they included in it. I love the look of it over the previous like giant-headed beat 'em up games where their bodies were kind of weird shaped. Super Double Dragon, it makes you feel like you're actually playing a martial artist as opposed to just punching and kicking randomly and hoping that it hits. You got to like get the beat down and figure out how everybody works. And it's got some it's a very hard game to beat. And it took some time and it involved a lot of effort to get through every level. But I just love this game so much. And it's very special to me.
I've only learned of its existence because of Mr. Sunday Movies on YouTube. They're like a caravan of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And they recently did Double Dragon. Like they're doing a bunch of video game movies. And this was one of them. I didn't know it existed. And then I was watching Righteous Gemstones. And there's like a Christmas where they get like the cabinet version of it. And like, I think it's fun. And then now it's here. I'm like, apparently I need to check into this game and the dog shit movie. But
it's so funny that you brought up Mr. Sunday Movies. I don't think I've ever talked about this, but Mr. Sunday Movies is the podcaster that made me think I wanted to do podcasting.
I mean, same. I love.
He's the reason that this show exists.
I love Nick Meso. He's like I
I
like
love
them
those
both,
guys.
but he's
and
so
that whole
funny.
family. Do go on,
Mhm.
Auntie Donna, like that whole group,
Mhm.
incredible. Randy, no, Landy. What's your number 2?
My number 2, everybody who had a Wii played it. It's Wii Sports.
Yes.
This was like, so the Wii was like the newest console we had gotten after the Nintendo 64 in my house. So like we got this for Christmas one year, and me and my entire family played it like crazy for like a month straight. And then it basically boiled down to me and my sister playing it like crazy for years after that. In fact, I think I still have my original Wii somewhere in the box next to me in my office right now. But yeah, with Wii Sports, it was a game that you could always pop in and always have fun with by yourself or with people. I used to bowl 300 on the bowling game constantly because I played that all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. Boxing was always fun. Baseball was always fun. There's not a single dud of a game in that entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single game on there that I would not have fun playing.
Yeah. The golf was super fun. I love playing the golf. I don't really like golf. It was fun on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that had the Wii Sports Boxing on it too, right?
Yes.
Touching on your knockout choice. I totally agree with that. It was for a game that was like the Nintendo, like, here's our generic game to try out all of our peripheral.
For something that was essentially a demo to check out the system, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like for Switch, it's like ARMS, I guess, was that the game that like kind of released with it?
That was one of them. Yeah,
that was, and it was like, you know, like thinking like going from Wii Sports to that is just like, oh, you didn't have to go as hard as Wii Sports, but you did, and it's so good.
See, you say ARMS when you think of tech demo for the Switch. I always think of 1-2 Switch.
Oh, that's the right answer. But ARMS is just one where I'm like, that game was like sounded cool to me, but I don't think
any of you guys ever play Robot Boxing for the Virtual Boy?
I've never had a Virtual Boy, so no.
We got a Virtual Boy like in the early 2000s that somebody got it at like a garage sale, and I played it trying to be like, oh, this is cool, I'll try it. Like, it's an old retro system, whatever. Like, didn't do well. First off, that thing gave me the worst fucking migraines every time I tried to play it. It was so awful.
You're telling me the monochrome wire graphics gave you migraines?
Yeah. I mean, there was no comfortable way to put the headset on either. Like, there was like putting your face, because it had like a stand and you could put your face in it, so you didn't have to strap it to your head. That never worked well. You couldn't get enough like face pressure to make it like where the game was like block out enough light so you could see the game you were playing. And then if you strapped it to your head, it was so uncomfortable that you couldn't play anything long term. I'm not surprised this thing fucking failed. But
Jen,
Robot Boxing on it was pretty fun.
Oh,
you look
pictures of it.
You look simultaneously confused and concerned.
I know he's like saying, I was like,
This device reminds me of the optometrist. If you go to an optometrist and have the little thing that you got to put your eye on, and it puffs you in the eye. I don't think I can wear this without having eye doctor trauma.
Yeah.
I got perfect 20/20 vision, so every time people tell me about optometrist trauma, I'm just like,
yeah, me too, Landon. Me too.
What eye doctor are you going to that you're getting trauma?
Not trauma, but like your eyes start like they tell you like you got to hold your eye open, and because you like it puffs your eye with like a little puff of air, but you know it's coming the whole time, and it doesn't hurt. It's just like makes you jump, and oh my god, it like every time I'm like just not trauma, but like I'm like, oh, and they're like, I know you know it's coming, and I know that it's not gonna help, but you gotta hold your eye open.
Speaking of, Randy, what was your number 2?
Sorry, I'm still recovering from flashbacks of that. My number 2 is another game that I used to rent all the time, and I beat it. Is Kirby Crystal of Shards. I love Kirby. This was really the first Kirby game I ever played, and whenever I got another one where you couldn't mix powers, I was so disappointed. Because you can like mix 2 powers and they make like a new power. Like you can get water or ice and electricity, and you turn into a refrigerator and you like open the door and like flick food at people. Or you can get stone and cutting and become like a little statue where you can become like a little bird and just fly across any stage.
I've never played any Kirby games.
Oh, this one is
I know.
top
I
tier.
see Landon's face. I've never played any of the Kirby games. I just never got into it.
I got a gift for this. Oh, it's not working. Oh, there it is. Just took a second. Love it. And then I beat this game, and for the longest time I was like, oh, there's gonna be a sequel, because like it ends and like you've saved this little world and you guys fly off, and there's like the little fairy friend that you have, which I think is in this picture. The little right below the, and she's like, oh, goodbye, and like people are around her saying goodbye, and then like the queen character like gives her like a dark look and has that like sheen over her glasses, like, ooh, the villain. And I was like, oh, there's gonna be a second one. Turns out it's just because there was like a true ending, and so like Kirby just leaves them to like die, I guess. And so I got it for, I think I had the virtual console for a minute, and because I played this more recently, or maybe I just bought it on the, I don't know, but I played it and like had to beat the true ending and everything. But I love this game so much.
What do we have in chat? First, I want to highlight Billy's comment about the Virtual Boy. He said, oh, fuck me, I remember Robot Boxing. I also got migraines from it, and now a lot of red still makes me nauseated to this day. I blame the Virtual Boy for my color blindness.
An old trope about getting too close to the TV ruining your eyes.
Yeah.
Probably true with the Virtual Boy.
It's something for sure.
We have Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube.
Deontay the Giant says Soul Calibur 2 for GameCube. I also saw he said Spawn was a playable character. I remember that. I also remember the. I take that back. For Soul Calibur, it depended on the system you got it, who the additional playable character was. For Xbox, it was Spawn. For GameCube, it was Link. And for what's the other one? PlayStation, it was Kratos. Yeah. I remember that. But yeah, Soul Calibur games are a blast. Any fighting game that includes swords, I'm in.
That was the game I bought, like spent my hard-earned dollars on as a child, and found out I don't like fighting games.
Yeah.
I'm not good at them at all. Not good at any games, but that one specifically. We have Guerrilla Warfare, top-down shooter that was secretly a fight at Fidel Castro and Che Guevara taking over Cuba. Was the first video game I ever beat. It was incredible, and now I'm a communist.
Big fan of Che Guevara. Tierra Justicia Wile. I agree with that. I never played Guerrilla Warfare, but I am familiar with it. It's kind of a it's in that realm of like Contra, but it's top down. Obviously, it's much later. But yeah, dude, I love seeing games like that, and I think it's really cool that they were even back then, or especially back then, they were trying to use video games as like a vehicle for like social reform while people weren't looking. What else we got? Is that all of chat?
That was the only.
All right,
two in
my
chat.
number 2, as previously mentioned by Deontay, is Star Fox. This for the SNES was a huge revolution in gaming. The way that they took jet fighting, basically like what you'd seen in like Top Gun and other fighter plane style like Star Wars and stuff like that. It puts you in the pilot seat as Fox McCloud, with a team that you had to coordinate with and do strikes, and you get the ground tank that you get to do for a couple of levels, but the story is really engaging. You get emotionally attached to the characters. The weight of this game, you can feel it as you play it. I enjoyed Star Fox and Star Fox 64. They're both great games. I think that the SNES Star Fox holds up to the N64 one. I don't think that it's any less good of a game because of the lower resolution and graphics. I think they're both incredible games. And Star Fox is incredible. And I always loved the way that they made Muppets of them for all the commercials. Like, I just thought that was so cool. You didn't see a lot of video games do stuff like that. And they had Muppets that talked and looked, Muppetish for all of the promotional materials for Star Fox. And that's actually the Muppet on the cover of the game. Yeah. And I just thought that was really cool too. I don't know why. I just really dig it.
This was another game that I didn't know there was a Super Nintendo version of. Like, I played the N64 one. Do they like follow after each other? Because I do remember playing like the N64 one, and they were like, "Oh, we meet again, Star Fox," and I was like, "What?"
So, Star Fox 64 doesn't really introduce a lot of new story elements. It kind of is the same game over again, but with better graphics and some new vehicle modes. But it is its own story, but not enough. Like it's like comparing New Hope to The Force Awakens. It's basically the same story. You know what I mean? But anyway, Jen, are you ready to give me your number 1? Jen, your number 1, please.
Oh, my number 1 is actually Kirby's Dream Land on Game Boy. Sentimental. It's the first game that I ever beat in my life. Actually, I was so surprised that I beat it. I played it again and beat it again, and I was just like, damn. And I tried to play something else and I couldn't. But But yeah, I loved Kirby's Dream Land. I thought it was so much fun. I was just super impressed with myself that I beat it. So yeah, I do have an honorable mention.
Go
Can I
for it.
mention an honorable? Okay, one game that I can never fucking beat, and it pisses me off to this day. And I actually have the damn GameCube in the garage. Is I can never beat Eternal Darkness. Can
Ooh.
never beat it. Used to piss me off every like right near the end where she starts like going insane and like the whole game's like getting all obscured and everything. I can
Yeah.
never beat it. Pisses me off. Right now, I'm mad about it.
Yeah, Eternal Darkness was out of left field. Not gonna lie, Jen, for everything else that has come up so far.
Yeah. Yeah, the nerd rage on that is real too. But yeah, it's a very different choice from the rest of your list.
Yeah, well, this was when I was older, so I started playing a little bit darker games when I got older. You know, my taste match. But yeah, as a kid, I played all these other games with my brother, but then I started playing Eternal Darkness and I loved it, but I just never could fucking beat it. Pisses me off.
Got your first job, had some responsibilities, depression started to set in. You're like, oh, I wanted to feel something dark.
Let me kill these people.
Landy, what do you got for number one?
All right. My number one is Pokemon Crystal.
Yes.
I'm looking you dead in the eye when I say this. You. Yes, you. No Pokemon game, mainline franchise, is a good game. None of them objectively are good games. They're not good RPGs. They're not well designed. They always have massive flaws that just, I cannot call them good games. They exist solely off of charm. And I say this as somebody who owns most mainline games in physical copies and loves the franchise. So I'm picking a game that I think oozes charm, and that's Pokemon Crystal. Just something about it, the writing, the way things are designed, the sprite work, just everything feels like this is the game they really wanted to make. And because of that, Pokemon Crystal is my number one, because you can feel the love in it.
I never played I never had what's the other two, gold and silver. I had Crystal. That was my first Pokemon game. I was gonna put it on my list, but you had it on there, so I was like, I'll put Ruby and Sapphire. But it is one of my favorite games. Like Suicune is one of my, I don't even know if that's how you say it, honestly, but is one of my favorite Pokemon just because of this game. And I don't even know what the story difference is, but I love this game. And I did not catch the red Gyarados. I saved way before and didn't know that it was like a one-time thing.
Ah, buddy.
And then here's the thing that's crazy is I got to Victory Road, or there's a route near Victory Road, but I was walking the grass there and it popped up a shiny Golbat, and I killed it by accident.
Oh.
And I was like,
landed the pain.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh no. And then I ran into it again immediately after. And I was like, I guess the game is feeding me a shiny.
It felt bad for you.
Well, I was like, I don't know if I'm it's well, the kid didn't get a shiny. We got to give him a shiny. So it popped up again and I caught it then. But it was back to back. So I was like, it can't be a numbers thing. It's got to be on intentional. But yeah, so I never had a red Gyarados. I just had a red Golbat basically. But and then this is just an iconic, if it'll come up, opening little animation of Suicune running. I love it. I love. Was this in the original game or is this?
Yes, this was in the original game.
I
The
love
full opening really had a mysterious vibe to it. The whole full opening cutscene. You remember with the unknown popping up and little glimpses of Suicune as it ran through fields and stuff like that? Do you remember that?
I don't.
Vaguely, not fully, but oh yes, actually I have a GIF of it right here. I do remember this.
Oh my god.
Yes, I do remember that. That's I think what I was actually trying to find, not the one of that. But yeah, I love this game. I am fully on board with everything you've said because I love this game so much.
Yeah. God, I feel like I've already taken up all my time with this. But one more little thing I want to say. I found an interview where I could not ever find it again. If somebody ever finds it, please forward it to me. But I found an interview with the game director saying that they fully expected to stop making Pokemon games after Generation 2 because, like, that was just what they wanted to do. Like, Gen 1 was basically a proof of concept to Nintendo that that the game concept would sell. And Gen 2 was them once they finally got funding and freedom to just make whatever they want. So Generation 2 really was like the games they were wanting to make when they came up with the franchise in the first place.
And yeah, like they remade Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I love those, but I am still so upset they did not remake Crystal. That's what I was waiting for, and people are like, it's not going to happen. And I was like, but why not?
I mean, we got Z as a Legends game. Maybe we can get Crystal as a Legends game in the future. Maybe, hopefully, please, Nintendo, please, Nintendo.
I'm sure they're listening, Landon.
I know they are.
They keep an eye on us. Randy, what did you have as your number one?
My number one is twofold, just because they're basically go together. It's Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2.
Okay.
This was Pokemon Stadium 1 was the first game that I had with my Nintendo 64. Like, it was my Christmas gift. And and this was the only game I had for so long. And I got this and then Super Smash Bros, which also should be on this list somewhere. But I played the absolute hell out of this game, and like the mini games on it. More games should have mini games. Like Kirby Crystal of Shards has mini games as well, and they're also very fun. There's one where like you have to like knock the blocks out, like you guys are running around a thing, and you like can attack and like destroy a line. I'm sure it's a knockoff of some other game, but these two, like they did it like perfectly in the first one, and then just made it like improved on perfection in the second one with the mini games. Like the battles are fine, whatever, you Hypno and Dream
and that N64 transfer pack where you could put your Game Boy Pokemon into your N64 game.
Mm-hmm. See, I didn't have the first gen games, so once I got Pokemon Stadium 2, I was able to play a little bit on there. But yeah, this game was like so much fun. Like honestly the mini games, and then like just the battles were fine. You know, the battles were cool too.
Just full on groping yourself.
Yeah. The animations, maybe I think had to be toned down for the American audiences.
Mm-hmm.
But they still, like, I think she still does like a shimmy. Like there's a trend on TikTok where like a shimmy a day keeps the sads away or something like that. And that's just Nidoqueen doing that. But yeah, both these games are so much fun, and like nostalgia. First game I ever had, really. I think I had an N64, but before I had a GameCube or Game Boy, obviously GameCube. But before I had a Game Boy, I had this because Crystal was the first game I had for Game Boy, and that's why it's also one of my favorites. But
what do we have in chat?
Chat?
And for Billy's number one, I want to go ahead and let Landon read that.
Okay. I was saying I was reading them and I'm like, I'm not reading them as good.
It needs the gravitas.
Yeah, I was saying I'm not
to Billy's.
I stumble over it too much. Space Boy says Animal Crossing New Leaf, my first personally owned Nintendo game. Being the youngest kid means I didn't get to play or own my own games, but this game was mine. The 3DS was mine. It was just perfect.
That's pivotal. Like your first, like, this is my game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It sticks with you.
Nothing like it.
We got the whole Pokemon franchise.
Deontay the Giant with his number one,
which we've bragged on a couple of them already.
Mm-hmm. People love Pokemon.
And then he said his favorite is Pokemon X, I think.
Sapphire or X.
Yeah, Sapphire or X. Yep. And then we got Billy Rhodes, number one. Ready, Landy?
Ready. Randy, if you would be so kind. Thank you. Mario, Billy Rhodes, number one. Mario, get your Italian ass out of here. Donkey Kong, get back to the jungle. Want an in-game map or a map at all? Get fucked, asshole. You get graph paper and you'll like it. Princess Peach, Zelda, eat shit. The only Nintendo princess in my eyes is Samus Aran. Metroid is one of my favorite video game series ever.
Oh man.
And to cap it off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sweet
Sweet
Neato
Neto
titty
titty juggling.
Can she be one of your princesses? Of your Nintendo princesses?
Oh my god,
Just
Billy.
below Samus.
So good. So fucking good. Princess Peach, Zelda, eat shit.
Eat shit.
I do love the I don't know, like Metroid Prime was like the first ones that I played, and they're very good. Those games terrified me.
Yeah, just all the like the original NES Metroid.
If
At
there's
the end of the game, whenever you find out that Samus was a lady the whole time and she strips down to her 8-bit bikini, and nerds that were like, "Oh my god, she's in a bikini!" Like, oh, like
I've been playing a girl.
how far we have come to the modern day of hentai games that you can play on in the browser on the internet, compared to Samus Aran's 8-bit bikini being the hottest thing in video games at the time. But yes, Metroid has a long-lasting legacy in the video game world. Had some incredible games in the time they've been out, and I mean, there's a reason that you still see as many Samus cosplays at a con as you do of Link. Like, it's just so common because Samus is such a badass, and we like totally like it's universally agreed on by everyone. Samus is a badass. Like, nobody's fighting that.
Like they did the Mario movie, and like that was a success. So I think they're moving forward with like other stuff. I was gonna say this earlier with Star Fox. We need a Star Fox property of some kind. Like a Star Fox anime would be awesome. Like, do it like honestly, like I'm just being a furry tonight, I guess, but like a Beastars style, like that type of animation, I think would work well. Because I mean, I don't know.
I think with the introduction of the Mario World at Universal and the success of the Nintendo or the Mario Brothers game, the fact that we know they're working on a live action Legend of Zelda game that is coming, that expanded Nintendo movie universe is probably happening. And I can't imagine they're not going to try to do a live action like or animated rendition of a Metroid game.
Because I mean, like it's Ripley, like she's Ripley, or like. I mean, like, the villain is literally Ripley, right? Isn't that the big dragon's name?
Yes. So it is. I believe it
pirate?
is intentionally a
it's
reference.
Ridley, isn't it?
It is intentionally a reference to Alien. Is it not? Am I wrong? Anyway,
it's got to be something because I like Ridley Scott. Kind of, it's an homage, I'm sure. But but it's just like it's on par with that as far as like story goes to me. Like, love it. Like, I need more than just the games, because Metroid Dread, I think, was the newest one, and that one was very fun as well. Like, it's like literally you can't beat this thing, you have to run from it. Was a very fun like mechanic that they had in that game.
Yeah. We'll get to my number one here in a second, but before, I want to mention an honorable mention for me. And I wasn't going to mention it if anybody else added it to their list, but Super Mario Brothers, the original for the NES, it's a standalone. Think about the Mario franchise. They've never replicated this. This game is by itself. Like, they did come out with a more modernized version of this game for the Switch. But Mario gets new abilities. He can do different things than he could do in the original game. It's a multiplayer game. You all play it one time. Like, that's one thing. But this game is so well known and so iconic that we've never bothered to make another one. If you look back, Mario 2 is an entirely different game that they stole the game and then swapped the sprites, which is why none of them play the way they did in the original game. And it would have been so easy for Nintendo to be like, here's that same game with some new levels. And they never did. Super Mario Brothers gave us the Nintendo. It is the game that led the charge, that led to home consoles being a household item. We have people that are esports gamers that make 6 figures a year playing console games. And whenever Mario Brothers hit the market, we couldn't have predicted that. There's no way. Because they weren't the first video game. There were other things that existed before that. You know, there was the Commodore 64. There was Atari with their game systems. But nothing cracked that, the consciousness of American pop culture the way that Nintendo did. And, you know, if you're not giving credit to it, you're wrong. I mean, it is the reason we are the way we are today when it comes to gaming. That game caused that. So big shout out to Super Mario Brothers for starting this whole avalanche that has become what it is today. But my number one is my favorite game of all time. That's why it's my number one. And it was my first game that was mine. Like, I owned it, I got it, I played it, I finished it. And that was Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Yes. This game is so much different than everything else that was out at the time. From the mechanics of Link playing, the way they took what you did in Legend of Zelda for the NES and honored it while creating a very different game is incredible. The dash mechanic being added to it, the hook shot, there's so many elements to this game that just changed gaming fundamentally. The switch from the regular timeline to the Alice in Wonderland like dark reality that Link finds himself in and has to eventually save you from. The fact that you think you've made it to the end of the game and you fight the evil wizard, and when you finish him, you end up getting sent to a whole nother world for a whole nother half of the game that you didn't know you were going to get to do. Yeah. It was so cool. The twisted reality you end up in, that whole thing. I just loved it. And I just remember, this is, I think, the first game of this level that I played beginning to end, and was just so proud of myself for knocking it out. And it's my favorite Legend of Zelda game. I wish they'd do an update on it. I would love a re-release with, like, you know, not necessarily Breath of the Wild, but something akin to like Ocarina of Time would be great. I would love to see the story done again, but it's so great. It's for the Legend of Zelda mythos. I think it's the one that did the most to establish what our modern Legend of Zelda is. I think it really comes from Link to the Past. And then beyond that, Link's Awakening, which is a very similar game for the GameCube. But yeah, my favorite game of all time. Love it. It's the reason I'm so infatuated with Legend of Zelda. It comes from this game right here. And I don't think they've ever done better. I think they've done good games. I think there's awesome Legend of Zelda games. I love Ocarina of Time. But I don't think they've ever beaten what Link to the Past did.
I need to play. There's so many games I need to play. Like, you've got me excited with like every game you guys have talked about that I've never played.
Yeah, and there was a lot of fun, like just wild mechanics of like there'd be a circle of rocks and you wouldn't really know what to do or think about it. But part of a big puzzle for the game was to throw a skeleton or throw a skull into that circle of rocks in the water. And it's like, this just looked like a decoration. Like, I just thought it was like a fun little part of the level. But no, it actually unlocks something. You get a thing from your quest for it. You know, it had the thing where Link dashes into gravestones and they slide open and it makes a stairwell. The original Legend of Zelda had that, but it didn't have the dash mechanic. You know, like it was just like you're looking at things and you're like, does this work with that? It's the way that I used to put like Ninja Turtle action figures in my Transformers hands. Like it gave us that element of like, does this thing work? And it did. You know, it was the puzzle solving of it. I think it was very different at the time, and I really think that it's iconic. So that does it for this week's hit list. Next week we are going to do, let's see. So we did video games this week. Let's do our 5 favorite fantasy classes. Everybody good with that? Mm-hmm. All right. Next week, our 5 favorite fantasy classes. For this week, this has been the hit list. Welcome back to the show. We are pushing on the 2.5 hour mark. Sorry about that, everybody. thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the show. Really excited about next week's list. We love each and every one of you, and we appreciate you being here. It would be hard to do this show without you. Billy said fantasy classes like cleric and shit. Yes. But anyway, thank you so much. We appreciate all of our fans. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being part of the chat. Thank you for getting your hit lists in. Landon, Jen, and Randy, if you want to take turns, say a nice thing to the people, and we'll get out of here.
Well, I'll say what I say every week. Thank you all for coming out and chatting with us in the chat and watching the show as we do it. Like, we would talk to the walls, we would talk to each other, we'd talk to nobody. But because you all are watching this, you're the reason this is actually a show. And thank you for that.
Jen?
I second what Landon said. Thank you guys for showing up. It's always fun to interact with everybody through the chat. It makes it so much fun. I really appreciate it. But yeah, thanks for showing up, guys. I had fun.
Randy?
Thanks, guys. And I will say something nice. I accept your forehead kisses, and I appreciate the compliment. It's the only place I get to be a super nerd to anyone who will listen.
So you guys have been great, and we've been Cutting Edge Hero.
See y'all.
Bye.